Hey, I'm Sean Bartley with the Comics Pals. We are here at Wizard World Philadelphia. This is the very last day. We're in the final moments of the event, but we could not leave Philly without talking to the man. I've been waiting for this interview forever, Victor Dandridge. He's the hardest working man in comics. All over the place he's been running around. How's it going, man? It's a pleasure to be speaking with you.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate the intro.
Yeah, absolutely. You've become a talent coordinator for Wizard World Philly, or Wizard World in general. And what's that experience been like from you, kind of going from being talent to now being a coordinator of talent for Wizard World?
I have to admit, it's kind of surreal. I was just talking about this. This is actually a really special show for me. This is an anniversary of sorts. 3 years ago, I actually was featured as a guest for the very first time at Wizard World Philly. So, I'm sorry, 5 years ago. 5 years ago. Yeah, 5 years ago. So imagine 5 years later, now I'm responsible for bringing in guest artists and finding those people and giving them an opportunity to share their work, their craft, and really talk about comics. That's huge. It shows a lot of faith that Wizard World has in me, and I thoroughly appreciate the opportunities. What it's been like, it's been a roller coaster, man. Like, it's so crazy. And there's a lot of highs to it. Yes, there's a lot of difficulties, but the high factors. Technically, right now, I can reach out and call Greg Capullo if I want to. Like, literally, my 10-year-old self is so in awe of things right now. I've had phone conversations with Jim Steranko. Like, I talk to guys that I am in this industry because of so regularly, so often, and so personally that it blows my mind. So it's really one of the greatest things ever. I have to admit that this opportunity is probably a chance of a lifetime, and I'm aiming to do the most that I can with it.
Well, I think you are doing that. All the feedback that I've seen has been great. This is a great event, and I'm sure that that's in large part because of your contributions. But I do want to talk comics.
Yeah, let's go.
Now, one thing that I noticed is that I don't see a booth from you. Do you have a booth here?
No, it's kind of a bad thing. Okay, so obviously I'm a self-publishing comic creator through my imprint, Vantage Inhouse Productions. I haven't actually exhibited with Wizard World in a year and a half. Part of that is because with all the panels and things that I do, back in 2016, they gave me the opportunity to become a moderator, and it was a first-time tryout. And of course, you know, you aim big or you go home. So my very first time was at the 2016 Tulsa show. I was with Sebastian Stan, and you talk about trial by fire. I mean, if it's gonna work, it's gonna work. If it's not gonna work, it's not gonna work. So I've had a great time doing it, and since then, I just haven't had the time to be behind the table. I'm doing panels. I'm either on panels, moderating panels, running panels, and so no, I don't have a booth. I'm sorry.
That's okay for me because I own some of your work already. But it's, you know, there are a lot of people who are going to be watching this who may not own those books. And so since you're not showcasing yourself at the con, we're going to showcase you right now.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. And you can buy my stuff online. If you go to vantageinhouse.blogspot.com, there are ways for you to buy my stuff. If you look at my store on Square, you can buy stuff online. So it's not totally gone. In fact, I'm still creating new stuff. I'm very, very pleased to say that my book, The Trouble with Love, we have a sequel called Never Too Late that's currently in production. We just finished up the line work for issue 1. It's getting colored right now. I got to give a shout out to Harold Edge. He's making his Wizard World debut here this weekend. And that's always the thing, you know, when you see people that are very talented putting in that work and you can bring them into a new market space, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing to be any part of somebody else's growth and expansion. And that dude is a hell of a talent. Like, you guys will know Harold Edge. I'm telling you right now, if you don't know his name, learn it so you can say, I was there.
So when you used to table, I saw lots of families, lots of kids come by because one of the cool things about what you provide through your imprint is that a lot of the books, there's something for everyone.
Yes, man, that was important to us. We realized that we have fun stories to tell. Some of them work for, you know, adults, some of them work for teens, some of them work for kids. And it's important to have a little something for everybody, not just to make more money potentially, but to diversify the readership that is under my brand. And that's one of the big things that a lot of creators don't necessarily think about. They're like, oh, I'm a talent, and they think of their skill set, but they're not thinking about building a brand and how to reach certain audiences underneath that brand. And that was very important with Vantage Inhouse, things that we wanted to really kind of buckle down and get on cue. I wanted to make sure that I have a little something for everyone, no matter what your demographic is going to be. So, even like our book, The Trouble with Love, that I shouted out before, we actually redesigned the cover because I was told that the original cover wasn't very female friendly. So I was like, okay, well, let's poll the room and let's find out. What do you think would, add to that? And the cover that I have now, I get a lot more ladies that stop to pick up a book that's about a father and son adultery, a broken marriage affair story that never picked it up before, So it's great. It's great.
That's fantastic, and I think that, like you said, that's something that a lot more creators should be aware of. So, given that you have this talent for tabling and doing so well, what are some of the things that you think are most important for creators who maybe haven't tabled before or looking to do Wizard World? What ideas would you want them to keep in mind?
First of all, that was an amazing question. Like, seriously, damn, that was good. One of the things I tell everybody is first, diversify your offerings. If you put all your eggs in one basket, if that doesn't appeal to someone, they walk away altogether, and that hurts you more than anybody. Having a multitude of things just has a lot more reach. The other thing is to be prepared to not make sales, but to create an experience. People spent like a lot of money to come in. Yes, the goal for you is that they buy your stuff, but the long-term goal is that they remember who you are and care about you as an individual. Sometimes that's a matter of you creating a good experience for them, and they walk away not having dropped a single coin. But maybe next time they will. And maybe next time when they do, they bring somebody else. That whole essence, it's like treating a Comic-Con like being at a concert. When you drop major dollars at a concert venue, you don't go with the expectation that, I'm going to get a T-shirt and a poster and this and the other. Maybe you will, but you really are going to have a good time experiencing this music that you heard, and it's going to be lovely. If you don't get that, that's the problem. Like, you got to create an experience. Create an experience. Otherwise, you've missed the mark.
That's sage. That's fantastic. And it's funny because Dirk Manning, I've actually had this conversation with him too. He says the exact same thing.
It's true. Listen, it might be something in the water, okay? Dirk is Midwest guy like me. Is my man. I love Dirk. He's my guy. But no, we have to have that talk, and it's that thing that I think ultimately has made us both very successful. But yeah, those are things that we've talked about, that the necessity is to create that experience, because that will last a lot more than just a quick hit couple of dollars. And I think that actually plays out into a lot of things. All right, I'm going to wax a little bit if you don't mind. We're seeing a lot of change when it comes to prints and the fan art movement. When it is just something that is so commodity oriented, like fan art can be, if you're not creating an experience, you could easily be forgotten. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where there are a lot of people that are very talented that create all these different characters. You want somebody to pick your iteration. Why? Is it your skill, or is it because when they see you create something beyond just the artwork, that's just a cap? That's the thing that they get to take home to remind them of the experience that they had. If you're not doing that, like I said, you're missing it. And those are the things that I think, Dirk Manning does really well. My man Mike Watson does really well. We do things to make being here the joy, not just you buying our stuff. And that's the top. That's the top.
I completely agree, and I can say that I've personally had that experience, so I know what he's talking about works. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what it's like to be a black man making comic books. Now, I know that's a big question, and I know that that can go a lot of ways, but I know that you have to have had some unique experiences to share. And if you're comfortable, I would love to hear your thoughts on that and what it's been like.
So first off, let me be honest here. I first don't naturally qualify myself as a black comic creator. And it's not that I try to deny it. It's because my goal as an individual is to be a great comic book creator, regardless of race, regardless of anything. That's not to take any stabs or stones away from anybody that does, celebrate this, but I don't want that to stop and start what my acclaim or accolades are. However, I do recognize the necessity of the presentation of myself as a black comic creator, whether or not I want to be viewed as that. I know I am viewed as that, and I need to respect and be a model for those people that embrace that terminology. So with that, I have my book, The Samaritan, that I did with my man, Ren McKenzie. Very strong, very powerful showcase of a black superhero. I have that product, available for those people looking for that intent. Is that all that I create? No. But that's the thing that is important. This is where I'm gonna ruffle some feathers. I'm sorry. I don't feel like, as a black creator, I should only cater to black audiences. There's too many people in the world, and realistically, if our biggest complaint is the fact that we're not represented well, then the last thing that we need to do as a solution is to exclude other people. That doesn't work. We're not going to get people to embrace our products if we exclude them. I think that's one of the greatest things that we've gotten out of the Black Panther being in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. How many white kids are running around claiming Wakanda? That's because we didn't only have him, actively against fighting white people or absent of white people. He was in the mix. He was there. He was doing his thing, and he elevated, the entire idea of just being a superhero. Him being an African, black man, secondary to the fandom, the love of the character, and that's what we want to get to. There's nothing wrong with loving the fact that he's a African king and a black man, but when that's not the only thing, then it's wide open and more people can love him, and therefore we'll get more justification for having more stuff of him, and that's way more important. Have I been discriminated against in my career for it? Not from the sources you would think. I get pushback more from aspects of the black comics audience. And part of it is because I operate with more of a mainstream frame of mind. So it's not that I don't support them, but I'm not limiting my support to those areas. And that is tricky, It easily begs the question, why are you doing this with them but not with us? It's not an either or per se, as opposed to there is a bigger, wider net that I can throw versus a tight niche net. Sometimes I will go for the tight niche. Sometimes I want the bigger. So that's just the whims of me as a businessman. That's smart business. Ideally speaking, I would hit both. That's my true ideal. This weekend, I got to admit, ECBOC, East Coast Black Age Comic Con, was going on this weekend. I would have loved to either have somebody there or have them have their show in our show. Like, I would love that. It's a big, bold move. I'm willing to make big, bold moves. So, if that's an opportunity ever again, totally wanting to take it. Totally. Yeah.
I think that what you said is something that there's a lot of controversy surrounding that, but there shouldn't be. True. Because at the end of the day, you're right. We're trying to promote diversity, which means that everybody's involved,
exactly.
And as a creator, I'm sure that, I don't want to speak for you, but I'm sure that a lot of your influences are from everything, yes. Right? Yes. So you have to put that out there.
My favorite writer has been Mark Miller for the longest time, and this is a white Scottish guy, okay? Like, I met Mark for the first time at C2E2 this year, but his influence on my work and my writing has been absolute. Same thing with Grant Morrison. We don't look alike. We don't come from the same places, but their style of storytelling, their scale of storytelling impacted me. And I'd be a fool to try to be like, nah, I can't give them love because they don't look like me. That's ridiculous. I can't, there's certain characters that we're hyping up right now that we wouldn't have if we had that. Can you imagine if somebody was like, nah, I can't rock with Black Panther because 2 Jewish guys created him? What? Right. No, like that's silly. So like we literally would not have the Black Panther movement that we are living in right now if that was the mindset. So I never want to promote that, ever.
So I think that one of your bigger influences, or not influences, but desires, is to help creators get out there, right? And you have the You Create Comics brand. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So with You Create Comics, I'm trying to give back because I hated reading as a kid. Like, books were evil. I would burn them. I wouldn't burn them. I'm just teasing. But that's how I felt. But comic books changed everything. And recognizing that comics opened up an interest in education that I didn't have originally, I tried to create this brand that would focus on that, foster that in other students. So through products and programming, I go to schools, libraries, other learning institutions, and I use this brand to encourage kids to start creating stuff on their own. I figure kids who create comics will read comics, and kids who read comics will read anything. So it's this thing of trying to instill this future generation with a appreciation of what it means to be a comic book creator, what it takes to be a comic book creator, and the joy and love of that art form. Yeah, that's what You Create is all about.
That's awesome. Where can we find out more about that for anybody who might be interested in getting involved?
YouCreateComics.com. It's a crappy website right now. I am so sorry. Listen, if you do web design, reach out to me. I'm trying to get some stuff updated. I'm busy though. That's the hard part. I'm always on the road. So, but it's very basic. It shows you, it talks about why I'm doing this, some of the different projects that we have, some of the different programs that we do, and know that I am willing to either travel to bring that to you, or I will send it to you. I have no problems with that, because again, I'm trying to empower learning for other people, and that's the thing.
That's amazing. And Wizard World is about to shut down on us. I wish I had way more time to talk to you.
We gotta do this again sometime. For real.
We absolutely will, but I'm going to let you go. You're the hardest working man in comics. I'm sure that there's another convention you're about to head out to right now after you leave this building, so I'm going to leave you to that. But thank you so much for giving me the time. I really appreciate you.
My pleasure. My absolute pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Where can people find you online so they can keep up with you?
So every week, you guys can find me on YouTube. The channel is Comic Town TV. I'm doing black, white, and red all over. It's a weekly review series where my man Ryan Seymour and I, we go through books that are hitting the shelves that Wednesday, and we tell you what's hot, what's not. We keep it 100. You can also follow me at Vantage Inhouse on all social media outlets, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Hit them likes, man. I got low likes. I got to get better at that. I don't promote well, and I need that up. I need to get my likes up. Help me out.
We need to become the hardest working man in social media.
Right. I don't know that area so well, so I gotta do better.
Neither do I. It's okay. So this is Victor Dandridge. I'm Sean Bartley. We're closing out Wizard World Philadelphia. You can find all of our coverage all over our YouTube. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, The Comics Pals. I'll see you guys next time. Take care, guys.